everyone, I am Arlette Hardy, blogger and joy strategist from chasing-joy.com, and I am here to give you guys a bump date. I am 30 weeks and 6 days pregnant after a 2+ year long fertility journey to become a single mother by choice that basically was successful through IVF. So I have my stats like I always do, but I think before I dive into that, I'm gonna kind of tell you guys what's happened over the last 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since I did a video, and they were kind of eventful. If you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, which I hope you do, you can find me as Chasing Joy on both. Then you probably know some of this already. So, I think I told you guys in the last video that I failed the 1 hour gestational diabetes glucose test. So they scheduled me for the 3-hour test, and it was kind of odd. My doctor, just when she called me to tell me that I failed the 1 hour, she was like, oh, and by the way, you know, I electronically sent the labs over to the LabCorp, and I'd never done that before, so I was already kind of hesitant that it would work, so I just kind of showed up there random, but I fasted first in case they were there, that I'd be able to do the test, and lo and behold, it actually worked. So I did the 3-hour test, and I failed it. So I have officially been diagnosed with gestational diabetes, which I'm not surprised, because when I looked into gestational diabetes, I had several of the risk factors. I'm over 35, I am black, I am overweight, I have a family history of diabetes, so that was, I think, most of the risk factors. So I wasn't really surprised, but I had been really hopeful because I didn't think I had failed the test by that much. But I failed it. Now, the thing that was so annoying to me is that I barely failed it. So the way the test works is you drink the syrupy drink, and first they take your fasting blood sugar. So they do a blood draw, and then you drink the syrupy drink, and then they do 3 additional blood draws at 1 hour, 2 hours, and 3 hours after you drank the drink. And you only have 5 minutes to drink the drink. So my numbers were so close. So they wanted for your fasting to be 95. My fasting was 92, so that was good. For 1 hour after having the drink, they wanted your blood sugar to be 180 or below. Mine was 181. Then they wanted the second hour to be 155 or below. Mine was 158. So 3 points, right? And then the final test, which is 3 hours after, they wanted to be below 140, and mine was 120, which was good. So I only failed on 2 of the 4 blood tests, and I literally failed by a total of 4 points total. So I was like, oh, so close. But basically the rule is if you fail on more than 2 of those 4 tests, then they consider you have it, and they diagnose you with diabetes. And so wasn't surprised, a bit bummed, but not surprised. The doctor felt confident that I'd be able to control it with diet, since I was so close to passing. She said especially if I stay away from sugary sodas and the juices. So, you know, I'd been enjoying my Pepsis, and I had been enjoying my ruby red grapefruit juice, or not even necessarily ruby red, because I think that's a brand, and I would usually get the Simply, I forgot what it's called, something Simply, or Simply something, but basically the non-GMO one, and I'm really enjoying that. So those are gone now from my diet. So that happened, and after getting the diagnosis, I guess that now makes me high risk. They didn't officially call me high risk, but they said now I have to see an additional doctor, the maternal fetal medicine doctor, and I believe that's what people consider a high risk doctor. So I have an appointment for that scheduled, and then I also had to go to 2 training classes. One training class to learn how to test my blood sugar, and another to learn to discuss the nutritional aspects of the gestational diabetes diagnosis. And so basically what I have to do is they want me to eat basically every 2 hours, which is a lot, and it would be like 6 meals a day. So I guess, well, let me rephrase. Excuse me. It would be 3 meals and 3 snacks. And I have specific carb targets for each of those. And then I'm supposed to test my blood sugar when I first wake up, like a fasting, and then 2 hours after breakfast, 2 hours after lunch, and 2 hours after dinner. And then because they want me to be snacking, because the goal is for my blood sugars to be even, like stable, not dipping and spiking. So they said that I should have my snacks the 2 hours after, like when I'm testing, like that be my trigger to have a snack. So basically how the day should look is I wake up, I test my blood sugar. For fasting, they want it to be below 95. Then I'll eat breakfast not long after that, and then 2 hours later I would test my blood sugar, and they want it to be under 125. And then at that time I should have a morning snack. Then a couple hours later I should have my lunch, and my lunch for breakfast I'm supposed to have 30 carbs, okay? But then for lunch I can have 45 carbs, and then 2 hours after that I'm supposed to test, and they want it below 125, and then I should have my afternoon snack. And then later I should have dinner, and that should also be 45 carbs, and then 2 hours after that I should test. That should be under 125 on the blood sugar, and then I should have like a bedtime snack. So that's a lot, a lot of meals, and it's just very rigid. I feel the schedule. Honestly, for me, the schedule I think is the hardest thing. I'm not used to eating by a clock necessarily. I'm used to kind of eating when I'm hungry. You know, I mean, other than like at work, you go to lunch between these hours. But other than that, like I'm kind of used to eating breakfast when I want. I'm used to snacking when I want. So really the rigidity, how do you say it? Rigidity of it is the most challenging part for me. My biggest disappointment with the gestational diabetes diagnosis is I was upset about having to do the finger pricks for the blood sugar, but when I went to the training, the lady explained that if you prick your finger on the side, that it's less painful than if you just do like the tips of your finger. And she explained how we use our fingers, you know, for, you know, dexterity, for typing, picking up things. So we have so many nerve endings there. That's why that prick is so painful. So she said if you do it to the side, it's not as many nerve endings. So she was 100% correct. I mean, I'm not going to say it's pain-free, but it's way less painful when you do it on the side. And that tidbit of information alone for me was worth it to go to that training. So yeah, so that's been going on, and you know, adjusting to, you know, I haven't had to make too many dietary changes, just like, you know, decrease the carbs, increase my protein so that my meals are big enough. But just really the structure of it is challenging. So that happened. So the diagnosis was week 29. I went for the training over this past weekend. And then I've been adjusting to it this week, which is week 30 of pregnancy. So that happened. Then I had a very scary incident on Monday night. So Monday evening, I was getting ready, you know, for bed, and I got in the shower, and I don't know about you, but like I tend to turn the water on in the tub first, and then get the temperature to how I like, and then I step in, and then I have to bend down to turn the faucet to redirect the water to the shower head. So I had done all that, and when I stood back up straight to, you know, after turning the water to direct it toward the shower head, I felt lightheaded, and that's not normal for me. So I said, oh, well, let me, you know, this now needs to be like a record-breaking fast shower so I can get out of here, because I definitely don't ever want to like pass out or faint in the shower, in the bathroom, you know. It's just too many things to like fall into to be dangerous. So I rush through my shower, come out, you know, I go to my bedroom, I lay down, and by the time I did all that, I just felt like my heart was racing. So at first, I wasn't concerned, because that's happened to me twice in earlier pregnancy, and I don't recall right now if I ever mentioned that in the video, but it happened along with a hot flash. Like I got really hot, and then all of a sudden my heart was racing. Then I think I Googled and saw that that's common, and then I mentioned it at the doctor, and they said, yeah, that's common. It comes from like getting a sudden surge of hormones. So when it first happened, I wasn't really worried. I thought, okay, you know, this has happened before, like just be calm. So I just lay there and tried to relax. Now, I wasn't really hot, but then I was also in the shower when it started, so I didn't know if the fact that I was like in the water, which, you know, can cool you off, had an impact. So I lay there, but it just wouldn't stop, and it just raced, and it went on for like 2 hours, which was scary. The only things that kind of kept me calm was the fact that I did not have shortness of breath. My breathing was absolutely fine and normal. And I did not have chest pains or anything, or pain in my arm or my jaw or anything, or indigestion, nothing. So, you know, I didn't think I was having a heart attack or anything. I just felt like it was like just from the pregnancy. So, but it went on to like 2 a.m. because it was around 11:30, 11:45-ish when I started to head to the shower. So that was scary, and then because, you know, it took so long to stop, and at one point I even fell asleep for like 10 minutes, and then I woke up and it was still going. My anxiety was so high that then I could not sleep. So at 5 a.m. I was still awake, and so I just texted my boss. I know it was an early riser, and said, hey, like, I'm not coming in, you know, I'm not feeling well. And then I also was calling out because I was going to call the OB, and I didn't know if they were going to want me to come in. I didn't know what they were going to want me to do. So anyway, the next day I called the OB. They called me back because I left a message. They called me back pretty quickly. And they said, you know, they were not, their exact words were, well, basically they said they were not too concerned. And then their exact words were, because it's not that uncommon in pregnancy. And they said it doesn't happen to everyone, but it's not that uncommon where we're worried. They said we put a note in the chart in my file. They said, but because it went on for so long, that they said I should follow up with my primary care physician in case the primary wanted to look into it further. So I called my primary. Now, I have to say, mentally, I'm between primaries. I have not been to the primary doctor in, I don't think it's been 2 years, but it's definitely been over a year. And that was only my second time seeing her. I didn't love her. And so my plan was, after I had the baby, to try and consolidate, because my doctors are all over the place thanks to fertility treatments. My original gynecologist and primary were at one hospital. That gynecologist referred me to the fertility center that I used. And then when my thyroid numbers came back weird, they referred me to an endocrinologist at another hospital. So that's like 2 hospitals plus a fertility clinic. Then when I got pregnant, I went back to my gynecologist. And if you guys remember from one of those really early videos, my gynecologist retired, and really I didn't like the practice. I only liked her. So I sought out advice from friends, and I ended up at the OB practice that I'm at now, which is a 3rd hospital. So it's like primary is 1 hospital, endocrinologist is 2nd hospital, OB is 3rd hospital, and then the fertility people completely different. So things were very spread out. So my plan was, after the baby, because so far I like this OB practice and they also do gynecological services, was to sign on there for my gynecological, and then if I still liked it, try to consolidate everything to that hospital, ask them for a referral for primary. And then I do like the endocrinologist, so I hadn't decided if I was going to switch from her. But anyway, all that to say, I didn't love the primary to begin with, and I hadn't been there in over a year. So I called and I left a message, and guess what? No one called me back. So yeah, and today is Friday. I called on Tuesday. No one has called. So I did not have any further incidents. I feel fine. But that definitely confirmed for me that I definitely need a new primary, because clearly they're not on the ball. So I'll tell you guys my thoughts on what caused the heart racing. So the baby now is big enough where I can actually feel where the baby is in my body sometimes. Especially if I'm laying down, I'll just feel like a lump. And like, oh, there's the baby right there. And if I poke it, you know, it'll like kick and squirm around. So that particular night, the baby was way up high, like way up here. And it was usually never that high. So my suspicion is that I think the baby may have been pressing on some kind of artery or nerve that was then requiring my heart to work harder to pump the blood, which explains why it was like my heart was beating so fast and so powerfully. That's the only thing I can think of other than a hormone thing. So I'm going to talk, one of my next appointment, I'm going to talk to them about connecting me to a new primary, and then I'll follow up with that person if they can refer someone, and then what do they think about the position of the baby. But anyway, so that was scary. So yeah, it's been kind of a trying couple of weeks between, you know, the gestational diabetes diagnosis and then that thing. Oh, and then this is kind of funny. So then I thought I had a bleeding scare, which I did not. I could kind of laugh about it now. And even when it happened, I said I'm going to laugh about this at some point. So because of the gestational diabetes diagnosis, I'm not drinking like apple juice or orange juice or grapefruit juice like I normally do, or like I had been doing in the mornings. So I said, well, I'll go back. I'll have like Crystal Light. You know, sometimes I just do lemon and water, but sometimes you want more flavor. So I'll do like the Crystal Light type mix in. So I had one, and it was like a strawberry lemonade or something red. And when I ripped the little tab, some of the powder residue got on my hands, and like I wiped it off, and then I had my drink. So fast forward a couple hours later, I have to go to like this big meeting at work, And so before it starts, I said, let me run to the restroom. So I go to the restroom, and sorry, this is TMI, but you know, this is a pregnancy related video, so you know TMI is a risk. But I use the restroom, and then I wipe, and you know, I look at the tissue, which I'm pretty sure most pregnant women, at least if you've had a miscarriage or any scare, you look at the tissue every time, just habit. And there was pink on it, and my heart was racing then for like a whole nother reason. And I was like, don't panic, because it was so light. It was such a faint pink. And I said, well, if this is anything wrong, it's just starting, and I've been feeling the baby. So like I was like, just stay calm. And I had to go to, you know, I was already at work at this meeting. I had to go back in there anyway. So I said, okay, this should be an hour or less. We'll go, you're sitting. When it's over, you check again. And if there's more pink or if it's definitely bleeding, like I was going to leave and call and see about going to the ER, all that. So an hour later, I check and there's nothing. Everything's perfect. And then I realized what happened. The pink residue from the earlier crystal light must have been on my hand. Just enough to transfer a faint pink to the tissue. So when I wiped, it looked like blood. So yeah, I think because my anxiety level was already high from the whole racing heart thing, and this was only like 2 days later. So yeah, these couple weeks have been challenging, emotionally with all that going on, and just realizing like now I'm at the point where my mom had my brother early. Like he was already born by the time I think she was 30 weeks. I was born at 32 weeks. And while I've been very blessed to not have the things that she had going on with her, you know, just the reality of like babies come when they want. So it has been a little nerve-wracking. So that's what's been going on the last 2 weeks. On more positive notes, I have been busy. I did get a lawyer, and so I started working on my I think it's called a power of attorney or a living will. Excuse me. And my regular will, because like God forbid something happens to me, I want it in writing, like who's supposed to be the guardian of the baby. And my cousin is my birth partner, but she's not my next of kin because I have a brothers, plural. So I wanted to make sure legally if something was to happen while I was in labor and she needed to make decisions that she could do that they wouldn't delay anything trying to like reach my brother. So I wanted to get all my paperwork straight. So got a lawyer and I'm working on that. That's almost done. We'll be finalizing it, I think, next week. So that's really good. And then the other really good thing is I finally got a contractor to start the nursery, because I think I mentioned like the wallpaper and everything, which is why I'm doing my video in this room, my living room. So he actually started today and was able to scrape all the wallpaper down. So pretty soon I'll have like smooth, nice walls again, and then they'll be freshly painted. So that's exciting. And so that's been good. And then in this room, this is my living room. My whole house is a mess right now because I just have things everywhere. I have Pampers over there. Excuse me. Because I can't put anything in the baby's room, and the furniture that's supposed to go in there is like all over the house. So, but I did manage to arrange some things in my living room so that now I have a space for where the pack and play will go. And a couple weeks ago, I rearranged things in my bedroom, so I had a space, or open space available for the bassinet. So I do think the nesting thing is kicking in, just to make room. So I'm excited about that. So that's basically what's been going on. It has been challenging. Oh, and then like third trimester, the swelling is back. So most of today I had my feet up. They're looking better. I was actually almost going to do the video laying down, but I had to get up to go get food ready. So I was thinking, let me do the video now. So swelling is back in my feet. I haven't been wearing my rings for a couple of weeks. And the tiredness has hit again. That's why I didn't get the video done last week, because I just was tired. And every time I'd go to think about it, I'd realize that I already took my bra off. So, you know, I can't do videos braless. I won't do that to you guys. So, anyway, that's what's been going on. And I've already rambled. This video is probably way long. But I'll do the stats. But first, I do want to shout out a few people. Not necessarily by name, because I didn't write anyone's names down. But I asked you guys last video where you were watching from, and several of you answered. So I know some of you are watching from Philly, which is where I'm at, and if you're in Philly, hopefully you'll come out to like one of my Chasing Joy events at some point. But people are watching from South Jersey, Washington State, and then New Zealand and Ireland, which is awesome. So thank you guys. And then a couple of you let me know that you did watch to the end, and I do appreciate that. I appreciate the suggestion for the old wives' tale for gender prediction. So next video you see, which I'm going to try really hard to get up next week, because I'm going to talk about the old wives' tales and what they say in terms of gender. And I might try to do some of those, like the baking soda one that someone recommended. So thanks for that. And I did have one question, which was, am I using my pregnancy planner? And I think they were talking about this lovely planner that my cousin gave me for Christmas. It wasn't this year, last year, because this has been a 2-year journey. So the answer is yes and no. Yes, I have used it. No, I have not been diligent with using it. It took me a while to use it because I was nervous to start. And then, honestly, I just haven't been, that organized to remember the detailed things there. But I feel like with me doing these videos, like weekly or even if it's every other week, that I'm really getting a good, like, capture of pregnancy and how much I wanted this baby and all the steps it took to get here. And one day in the future, I hope to show him or her how much they were loved and wanted. So I still feel like I'm able to like journal things, but I'm doing it mostly through the vlogs, even though I have a planner, but I haven't really used it. So anyway, on to the stats. I'm trying to talk faster. So like I said, today I'm 30 weeks and 6 days. The apps are saying baby's like 3.5 pounds, but I'm sure my baby is bigger. My weight gain, I think, officially hit like 30 pounds today, but some of that I know was from swelling. Yeah, so the best part of the last 2 weeks has been I did a little shopping, which I'll show you if the video doesn't run out. And today we're finally getting the nursery started. That it's like a huge weight lifted for me. The worst parts of the 2 weeks, definitely the whole heart thing, and then my last appointment was last Friday, and when I first got the Gestational Diabetes Diagnosis, it really didn't bum me out, but when I went to the doctor's appointment and realized like all the extra stuff, like, okay, you got to schedule this nutrition training and schedule this blood sugar monitoring training, and then you got to go to a high-risk doctor and get additional ultrasound. Even though additional ultrasounds is nice to see the baby, but that was so overwhelming that I did feel very bummed when I left there. That was the first time I left feeling like something is wrong. Like every other appointment I felt good, like, okay, great, everything's great, but I left feeling like something is wrong. So that was definitely a low. My aversions, nothing. I've been able to eat chicken. I think I had eggs this week as well. So everything eating wise I've been able to eat everything. It's just now, I'm restricted. My sleep has been good. My symptoms, like I said, tired, the swelling. Before I was talking about carpal tunnel, I discovered I do not have carpal tunnel. I went to acupuncture and she diagnosed me with something else that I can't remember, but it's basically like tendonitis of the wrist. And the reason there's like a hand test you do where you posture your hands, they could tell if it's carpal tunnel or this, and mine was this. So basically I just haven't been using my hand that way, and I figured out what was causing it. It was the way I was holding my cell phone, because I would hold my phone like kind of like in an L shape with the phone resting on my thumb, and that was causing my thumb, I guess, like overuse. So since I stopped doing that, like almost all the pain has gone away. It's a little stiff when I wake up, but no more pain. But when I asked Dr. Google, it did say that that was more common in pregnancy. So I think it's just because all of the tendons and things are looser, but not carpal tunnel actually. My exercise has been not a lot, but I have been trying to walk a little more after the meals because of the gestational diabetes. And if you exercise, you know, your blood sugar numbers are low. So I have been a little better about short walks after meals. My medications are all the same. I'm hoping I don't have to go on insulin, but my fasting blood sugar has been a little high 3 days in a row now, and I can't quite pinpoint why. So hopefully that doesn't trigger that, but we'll see. I'm going to try to have my bedtime snack earlier tonight so that hopefully it doesn't make the sugars higher. What else? My mood, like I said, it's been pretty anxious couple of weeks, I guess. But outside of that, I've been pretty happy, you know, and I like that I can identify where the baby is now, most of the time. Who have I told? So I thought everyone knew, and this is really funny. So a guy at work who I'm friendly with, and I had showed him how to do some stuff on Instagram, and so he actually, you know, so I knew he followed me on Instagram, but I guess one day recently he actually saw something that I posted about being pregnant, and he's like, what? So he had no clue. So he, you know, congratulated me and stuff this week. And I feel like this week at work, I definitely looked more pregnant. I noticed more people, you know, staring at my stomach and everything. I work for the government, and our agency is very big, so most of the people don't know me, but like they see me, you know, frequently in the hallways and stuff. So I think it's getting more noticeable now. So now I think everyone knows. Let's see. So purchases. So I did cheer myself up after the gestational diabetes training by going to Carter's, and I bought some stuff